I'm using a translucent and white mix for the bacon and 2 shades of pink. The details for these are in your leaflet. I'm also using for the skin translucent with a little ochre in it. We'll be making a side of bacon by a stacking technique, building up layers of muscle just like a real side of bacon, so that it'll slice through. I'm just rolling a really thin rectangle for the skin. Next we want a thin layer of fat. It does need to be quite translucent, even more so if you're making cooked bacon. I'm laying that over there. I'm using the lighter of the 2 pinks that I've mixed for the eye of the bacon, making a little tube. This is for the lean part of the bacon at the top end. Maybe a bit thinner. That's it. Now the layers of muscle. Now I've mixed a fairly rough bit for the streaky part, for the tail end of the bacon. You don't really want perfection for this, so you can tear the colour up, because no 2 sides of bacon are the same. So I'm just going to tear pieces off. I have tried rolling the sheets the same width with my pasta maker, but it makes it too perfect and unrealistic. It's just not as effective. Pop that in there. I'll turn it round so you can see what I'm doing. I just need to put a bit of white in here to separate the top part from the streaky lower part of the meat, to define it if you like. And finish that off with a bit more pink. And then I'll add another layer of fat. I'm using a bottle to roll it out because it doesn't stick. You can be quite slapdash about this, as long as you get your colours right and the piece is thin enough to look right. The fat's thinner than the meat. If you buy a piece of bacon and work from it, you're really going to have the right colours. Another layer of fat in there. And then the meat. Alternating, you see, between the pink and white. That should do it. About 3 layers of fat meat and fat between each. You could add another layer of fat, but I think that should just about do it. Now I'm going to treat it a bit like a hand-rolled cigarette. I'm just curling it over. I'll just trim away that fat. I think of it as fat even though it isn't. Tidying that bit at the top and rolling it as if it was a real side of meat. I'm pressing it together nice and firmly to get all the air out and to get the layers to join. And I'll trim the bottom as well to tidy it up. Give it a good squeeze and roll it over gently, just to persuade it to roll over. If you try and take this stage too quickly, the material will crack and you would have to try and unroll it and squish it back together again. Not always successfully, so just take your time. So the bottom needs to come up just under the eye of the meat. And I'm just persuading it a bit to lengthen. Just pulling it out a bit. And when you cut it open, there's your bacon. You could even lengthen it twice as much and you'd have 24th scale bacon, but I'm doing 12th scale today. It's just so easy to slice, and of course you can do it the thickness you prefer. The nice thing about making your own miniature world is the customer really is always right. And we'll do a side of bacon, perhaps for a shop. There we are. You can also do cooked bacon for plated meals and for your frying pan. And it's a good idea to push it into a crumpled look to make it look as if it's been frazzled. When that's cooked, you can touch it up with Humbrol clear colour. That's number 1322 from most model shops. I recommend that colour for any cooked meals and roasts and pies.